Hi everyone, it's Jennifer Hoffman of EnlighteningLife.com, and I wanted to catch up on this video for you so that you would know what's going on and why you're so exhausted and why we've been up and down and why the energy is so back and forth. So I'm going to try and use these props, although I'm going to have several things happening all at once. So one of the things that I said, which is true, is that the problem we're having right now with the energy is CERN is very active. CERN is the Center for Nuclear Research in Geneva, Switzerland, the big tunnel, the Large Hadron Collider. And CERN has a new machine called a plasma generator that is also working with the plasma of the Earth. So the Earth's core is not the molten rock, which science has said it is for decades. It's actually plasma. Plasma is the fourth state of matter: solid, liquid, gas, and plasma. Plasma, by the way, is a constantly self-renewing source of energy. So think of it as the kind of the flame that never goes out. So what's happening, and I'm going to try and use this ruler and our little guys here. So what's happening is, and I'm going to make this a three-dimensional, kind of a linear timeline just to be able to explain this, but it actually is happening on multiple levels. So on one side of the timeline, we have our little 3D guy, okay? And on the other side of the timeline, we have the people who are, you guys, in 5D. So the 5D people are doing a couple things. Number one, they're receiving the higher frequency energy to be able to expand the 5D timeline. So as we expand the 5D timelines, the 5D energy starts integrating with 3D. So it's doing two things. Number one is it's moving out to create the 5D paradigms, and it's moving this way to integrate with 3D. And it's also moving up because it's raising the frequency of the planet. So what's happening to CERN, with CERN is say CERN is down here, CERN is pulling this 3D timeline, this 3D paradigm down. It's trying to keep the 3D timeline in the same place. So what we've got is the people who are holding 5D, you're receiving 5D energy, you're spreading out the 5D paradigm, you're spreading energy this way to integrate in 3D, and then you're trying to hold up the whole 3D paradigm to keep it from getting dragged down. What are these people doing over here? Nothing. They're freaking out because they're feeling all this back and forth, up and down, but go into 5D, nowhere in 3D, get pulled down, get pulled up. So they're like the helpless people on the ride. They have absolutely no control with what's going on. They're just kind of bouncing around in the pinball machine. These people over here, the ones who are receiving and holding and expanding the 5D energy, they're taking a big hit because they're doing a tremendous amount of work. It was a lot of work just to receive the 5D energy and then to expand the 5D paradigms. Now we're also scooting that energy towards 3D as the 3D paradigms disintegrate. So we're scooting the energy over this way, and we're raising the whole 3D paradigm into a higher dimension. But now we have to work extra hard because CERN is trying to pull it down. And the problem with CERN is it's operating at maximum capacity now. They cannot make CERN operate any faster. And if you looked at CERN, and I do urge you to Google CERN and find out what it is. But what's happening with CERN too is they work within a very small amount of energy. So the 3D paradigm doesn't expand, and that's the problem with CERN, is that there is a very small window of opportunity for them. There's a very narrow frequency range that they can work in, and that frequency range, so the more we lift up the 3D paradigm, we disintegrate it, CERN's window of opportunity gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And if you've noticed, for example, in the news lately, all this stuff is coming out about corruption and deception and crime and the way the government is deceiving everybody. Well, that's waking up these people who no longer want that 3D paradigm of domination and control and power over. The 5D paradigms are power with, 3D is power over. So if you want to be controlled and dominated, then you stay in 3D. If you don't want to be controlled and dominated, then you start stepping on that 4D bridge and you start making your way towards 5D energy, which fortunately, because of our work, is actually coming over here to meet you. But this is why you're so tired. So not only are you these energy containers, you're receiving this high frequency energy, you're expanding the 5D paradigm this way, then you're bringing the 5D energy over across the 4D bridge so that it can be there when people want to connect with it. You're raising the 3D paradigm into higher dimensions, and then you are trying to hold it steady so that CERN doesn't pull it down. So this is why you're so tired. And these poor people over here, like these 3D people who don't really know what's happening, who are just deciding to step on the 4D bridge, they're literally feeling like this all the time, because this is what it feels like to them. Up, down, back, forth. This is what they're going through, and this is why they're so scared. So as the more entrenched you are in 3D, the more you feel the pull of CERN. And when you're in that 3D paradigm, when you're in the 5D paradigm, what you're feeling is the need to maintain the steadiness, maintain the balance of the 3D paradigm, to prevent it from getting yanked down into that CERN energy and keep it pulled up. So whereas before CERN, really started amping up, you were working with just, moving this paradigm, moving the 5D out, bringing the 5D over, getting 5D energy for these people, raising the 3D, integrating it into multidimensionality. So you were doing this work, but right now you're doing all of that, and you are trying to counterbalance, because as you're trying to hold this steady, you have this pull from CERN's energy, because it's interfering with the Earth's electromagnetic field. You're trying to avoid having the CERN pull the energy down. So you're pulling the energy up as CERN is trying to pull it down. So this is why these last week or 10 days, last couple of weeks, but especially this past week, because CERN really amped it up this week. This is why it's been so difficult. So just keep it, keep these little people in your compassionate heart, because they really are feeling this right now. They're having a really hard time, because the more, as I said, the more all of their 3D energy is being impacted by CERN. Those who don't have a whole lot of that 3D energy left, who've done a lot of the integration work, they aren't feeling the impact of CERN as much. What they're feeling is that need to, hold up this whole ship so that CERN doesn't pull everything down. And CERN is trying to pull it down as we're all working to hold it up. And we're actually managing, because, like I said, CERN has this very narrow window of opportunity, and the more the mass of humanity goes across the 4D bridge and starts integrating all this 5D energy, the smaller and smaller CERN's window becomes. And on a brighter note, kind of on a positive note, one of the aspects of CERN's experiments, one of the things they're trying to do is literally open portals into other dimensions, but they're trying to open portals into dark dimensions. And hey, I read this, I didn't make this up. So what we can do, as long as we keep this energy high and keep that influx of 5D energy coming in, which means, that's why I always say shine on, because the more you shine on, the bigger your energy container is. But we can use CERN's energy and CERN's intention to keep the energy high and open high energy portals instead of the low dense energy portals that they want to open. And as I always say, that every dark purpose has a light potential. So no matter how dark an intention is on the part of CERN or the government or whatever, we have the power collectively, because we are the creators. We, as all of humanity, have the power to turn that into something else. So as long as we stay focused on what we want to do and the energy we want to bring into the planet, we can actually override anything CERN does and see if we can use CERN's power and all the things that they're doing to create the massively huge 5D and above portals, and use the energy that, all the effort that they're making into our benefit, to the benefit of humanity and to the planet, and of course our solar system, our galaxy, and the universe. Remember, everything is ascending. We are all part of this process. So this is, like I said, this is why you're so tired. You're doing an awful lot right now. You're receiving energy, you're expanding 5D paradigms, you're expanding 5D energy across that 4D bridge towards 3D to help with the integration. You're holding all this up, and then you're lifting it, and then you're overcoming the downward pull that CERN is exerting on this whole process. Whew, no wonder we're all so tired. And those of you who are awake around 3 o'clock in the morning, we do a lot of this work at night, partly because 3 o'clock in the morning in the USA, at least I live on the East Coast, is 9 a.m. in Switzerland time, and that's when CERN is really active. So while we're asleep here in the US, CERN is working on the other side. And I just kind of had that thought today, is, well, I'm thinking of, why am I still waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning? Well, because we're all working with that energy, and they've really amped up the CERN activity lately. Anyway, this is Jennifer Hoffman of enlighteninglife.com. I hope that helps. Keep those lights shining. Now you know how hard you're working and all of the many different ways that we're all working to bring in that 5D energy and complete this ascension cycle. I hope that's helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.